Oh.
Salud.
Salud.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in that Technicolor rainbow between, it's your boy Trey Proper.
It's your boy Big Herb.
And Mr. Petty.
I'm going to be Afro-Latina today.
I'm Herb.
Damn it, Rick.
What up?
Thank you guys again for joining us for another live episode here on Twitch of Blurs and Whiskey. We appreciate you guys tuning in, joining us as we prepare to give you another great show this week. We got a lot of things lined up, but first things first, as always, let's get into our drink of the week. We have selected, as you saw on our fan pages, Cavassier. You can't see.
Cavassier.
We got, yeah.
I
I think we all got different types. What's the horsepower on yours?
I didn't even read.
I had a little
poured.
personal bottle that, you know, the little old school Alki bottle. I had that one.
Hey,
The gas station special.
Was it in a paper bag in your back pocket?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
We have flasks for that now.
So me and Papa Royal, we working with the VS. That's 40% alcohol.
Okay. I think everybody got the same thing except for me.
Yeah, I got VSO. I didn't get VSOP this time. I got VSO.
I just got
You
VS.
got the VSOP tray?
No, I got the VS.
Oh.
That's all.
So, yeah, everybody got the same thing then.
All right, going around the horn, what did you guys make with your drinks?
All right, I'm gonna start. I call it the bee's knees. It's basically Cavassier with lemon juice and honey, shaken and then poured, and then in a cup, and then I drink, and I'm good.
Okay.
The rocks. Yeah, you supposed to put something in other than ice? I'm confused.
You're the exact reason why we chose this drink, because we was thinking about old dude dad drink.
Oh, did you just call me old dude? You just call me old dude.
Hey, man.
We gonna listen. We're gonna get to that. Let's get through the drink. We'll get to that.
I mean, if the gray hairs fit.
Okay. You're close to the camera, Cam. You got
I'll be here for the next hour. Trust me. It's coming back.
Rita, what you drinking? What you make?
So I made something called a French 75. I Googled it like an hour ago. And it has cognac. It has half a shot of lemon juice, half a shot of simple syrup, mixed with some brut champagne, and it's actually pretty tasty.
Okay.
So fancy.
You're a girl, you can get away with that.
Yeah.
But any of you dudes are putting simple sugar and
step my
all the rest
way
of that stuff in your
into
drink.
brown.
I'm going to talk about you, okay? I'm going to talk about you, okay?
And that's
If you
fine.
put all
I'm
that other
cool.
stuff in there. You're a lady, so you get to wear. I'm assuming you're a lady, so so you get away with that.
I got the stretch marks to prove it.
You
The
are
humidity.
family. Okay.
All right,
Rick.
Herb.
Two of us this week.
I know. I'm about to get to it. We gonna get to it. What did you drink? We just.
I made a sidecar. It's well, the recipe calls for 2 ounces of cognac, so I did 6. It calls for 2 ounces of lemon juice, so I did 1 ounce. It was also supposed to use Cointreau, but I didn't have any Cointreau, so I used Grand Marnier. And then I also used some orange bitters, shaken, served over spherical ice. And it's cognac, so it tastes like shit. So
Fair enough. I don't think we're looking for any sponsors from Cavassier.
Not anymore.
And if we
Exactly.
were, we wouldn't get it. So thanks.
I concur. I agree with him.
I have made a simple Cavassier and ginger beer. That's what I made. Shook it up, put on some right ice, and got to it. So
Whoa. You shook carbonation?
Yeah.
You put carbonated liquid in a shaker and then you shook
Yes, I did. Yes,
You
I did.
just defeated the purpose of
You're not supposed to see, when I made mine, I put it all in here together and then added the champagne. You're not supposed to, but you're right. You got it. Go ahead.
So the reason why we're drinking this old man's drink.
Hey. First of all, old men don't drink Cavassier, okay? We drink scotch. those of us with
Fair enough.
I've seen a lot of old dudes with that Remy and they just walking. I mean,
them
I've
old
seen
Bama's. I mean, they got bell-bottom pants and pimps. Anybody with some class will drink a good scotch.
So basically Leon Phelps.
There's no
ladies man.
I'm
so
ready
Leon
for
Phelps
the show. I got through my Cavassier cognac.
It's the
and
man.
my scented
It's like the
candle.
guy that played in the ladies'
And
band.
I'm
He's
ready
the one
to
who
take
drinks
your
the
call.
cognac or whatever. So
Why we do a rundown? What was the purpose?
we thought of old. That's the reason why we thought of old dudes. Like,
I just want to get through this intro. That's all I want to do.
if you thought this was going smooth, Trey, you knew better, man. Okay. You knew better.
The reason why we are drinking this today is because it is a very nice day for it's Father's Day. So
yes, it is.
Because it's Father's Day. And because of that, we welcome back to the show Papa Royal himself.
The one and only. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you inviting me back.
Hashtag old dude.
But I'm just saying, why did it take a year to invite me back? I'm just saying.
Ask your son that.
Oh.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Ask your son. Don't put that on us.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, yeah, why did it take a year, dude?
Yeah, Herb.
Dry?
Yeah, Herb.
Yeah, y'all wake up too early in the morning on Sunday, though. Goddamn.
Well, not anymore.
Y'all should have did this Zoom shit a long time ago.
It definitely makes it easy on the gas tank, too. So we have you back for obvious reasons. You definitely bring a chaotic feel to the show. We appreciate it. But speaking of chaos, let's get into our first segment. Our wrestler of the week is none other than the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. And a lot of people will realize today is Father's Day, so we got a lot of Father's Day themes, and Shawn Michaels is a father. He is a multi-time WWE champion, Intercontinental champion, tag team champion, primarily in WWE when it was WWF. He's retired now, but he's taken a backseat role as a behind-the-scenes personnel now in the WWE. He's also best friends with Triple H, the guy who's going to take over it one day. But we chose him not only because he's a father, but because there was a very, very special story that happened.
Chaos, if you will.
Yeah, chaos in the background.
He was with the shits, basically. That's what it was.
Cam, you got the rundown of that story?
Yeah, so NXT had a takeover event, which is their big pay-per-view events. And it was in your house, and it had an old school feel to it. And before the show started, the news circulated that there was a verbal altercation, backstage argument between Shawn Michaels and another producer. They didn't name him at first. And everyone's first reaction was, great, Shawn Michaels arguing. Oh, it's about Black Lives Matter. We're like, great, Shawn Michaels arguing about Black Lives Matter. Come to find out that it was Shawn Michaels on the side of Black people explaining systemic racism and unfair justice system to another producer who was all like all lives matter type. So it was actually an interesting twist of what we all thought the narrative was. And then also later on, it was revealed that the backstage producer that he was having an altercation with was a fellow D-Generation X member known as Road Dogg, who pretty much made his bread and butter off of acting and imitating Black people.
The last person that anybody thought he would be arguing with.
It's me. It's that D-O-double-G. Yeah.
By
the way, I wanted to point out that picture of Hulk Hogan getting kicked in the neck was intentional.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know about that?
Do you know about that? It should be because fuck Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, he also hates Black people.
He will never be a wrestler of the week on the show.
but
maybe his daughter.
But just
oh, she wrestling, but just not for those reasons.
You know what? I was about to go into a story, but just off of that, let's move on.
What you got to say? We on Twitch now. What you got to say?
No. My story, that's what I'm saying, because my story doesn't hold weight to that, so we're just going to move fast.
Okay.
But we chose
comedic timing.
The Heartbreak Kid for that very reason, that he actually stood up to one of his close friends that he's known for years and spoke out in defense of Black Lives Matter. So that's the reason why he is our wrestler of the week.
But That's the crazy thing about it, though. Road Dogg spent most of his career in braids and rapping and talking jive, basically. And he was the one that needed to have this shit broken down for him. That's the part that just finds. What up, man? Where's Billy Gunn at?
Hey, Rick. To be honest, that's a classic. That's a classic culture vulture mentality where they take what they want, so they make enough bread, and then once they're done with it, then they move on to. I'm gonna shut up.
I mean, he sounds like an impersonator or poser anyway. I mean, and I don't know much about the wrestling scene, but I mean that would offend me to a certain extent. Like, know your place, dude. You're not one of us.
Exactly. I completely agree.
That hits right on the nail. That hits the nail right on the head, though.
Yep.
And this is why we needed your wisdom here today. Instead of old dude, I'm going to say wisdom.
And now you're learning. You can also use vintage or seasoned.
I'm going to say seasoned because of the salt and pepper effect. That's that.
Hey,
beat me by 1 second. Beat me by 1 second. Beat me by 1 second.
Which explains my high blood pressure, I guess, at this point.
Got a little bit of gout.
Yeah, a little bit of diabetes too. That's why I ain't fucking with this COVID thing, baby. I'm staying my ass in the house.
I hear you. But speaking of high blood pressure, hey, Big Herb, why don't you go into the church announcements?
Yeah, so church announcements this week. First off, let's give a shout out to
I'm just fucking with you, homie. I love you.
Yeah, I know, man. I ain't paying your ass no mind. First off, let's give a shout out to Akon. Akon reportedly secured a $6 billion contract with his country of synagogue to build Akon City. Should be the whole city. The first phase of it should be done in 20.
Let him finish.
Synagogue.
I thought I said synagogue.
You said synagogue.
No, you didn't.
You said synagogue.
Hey, look, if these are church announcements, they mess those up all the time anyway. They said already they can't read and miss shit all the time. Anyway, so what's the big deal, for real?
The first phase should be done by 2023. The next stage should be done by 2029. So shout out to Akon for securing the bag to go ahead and build his own city. So,
but minus 2 million points for making a song with Tekashi 6ix9ine.
That too.
Hey. We're not gonna mention that Bama on this show. We're not gonna mention that snitch.
And that's y'all's generation, because I just
no. That's Gen Z.
Can we just
all I'm saying?
That's Gen Z.
My generation started this rap thing, and that's not what we had in mind.
We ain't claiming Tekashi our generation.
He ain't a millennial.
Oh, then what is he then? Ain't he a millennial?
Gen Z.
Generation Z.
So we just gonna glaze over why he's really building his own country.
I want to build.
Are you about to say what I think you're about to say?
He's turning
all his concubines are just gonna come together and just procreate. He has at least 3 or 4 wives. Did y'all know that?
So hold on. So with what you're saying, Akon is turning himself into a real life T'Challa with his own Dora Milaje. And I said it.
That's what's happening here.
Hey, they're going to say Akanda forever.
Can't take me nowhere.
And I was supposed to be the one that caused the chaos.
Hey, Rick does week after week.
Moving right along.
No.
You're locked up in your Wakanda.
Moving along, Marvel is shooting their shows coming in July. So we're about to get all the movies and shows that we have been waiting for during this COVID season. So yes. WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Spider-Man starting to shoot at the end of the month. Yes.
The casting announcement for Miss Marvel should be coming up very, very soon.
Yes.
Basically everything's about to be on track by the end of July. But then also the next COVID-19 spike is gonna come too. So, but let's move on.
I'll say we all looking forward to Black Widow the movie.
Yeah. And moving forward to DC side, we're gonna keep it short and simple. Zack Snyder trailer for Justice League. Next, we're going to go into...
You'll notice I'm staying quiet to this part because I will come back later because I was raised on DC, so y'all can all split that right there.
Dre actually likes it right now.
Let's do this.
Let's go right now.
So right there. Let's do this.
So first of all, you think Batman's a superhero, so I'm glossing over you, okay? Because you think Batman's a superhero. Batman is white privilege, okay? He's rich.
I agree.
I said that last week. I said Batman is a 1%.
Ain't nothing super about that dude.
I can't deny that.
Yeah.
Speaking specifically about the Zack Snyder re-release of bullshit, you feel some type of way about it. Tell us how you feel about the movie coming out.
I feel some type of fucking way about it. Which one,
like the Zack Snyder? You know what? First of all, let's face it. As far as the live action movies, Marvel is just killing them. Okay, it's no comparison between the two. You know, the DC movies are too dark. Okay, they need to lighten them up a little bit and have some fun with them instead of just making them so serious. And all of that is because of your boy Batman. Because his shit started off so dark.
Hold on.
And now they just stuck in the darkness. Okay.
But that's the thing. We're not
going to talk about the 35 traumatizing seconds that I went through to watch this fucking trailer. That's what we really need to be talking about.
Zack Snyder ain't gonna give you your time back. Zack Snyder still owes me time for Sucker Punch. So I'm just saying.
Hold on, no, you did that to yourself, dude. You did that to yourself. You couldn't tell that movie's gonna suck. Okay, I still haven't seen it.
Cam likes bad movies. He's a
you do? You're that guy. Okay, you're that guy.
Listen. I've warned everybody. Everybody knows about my rant about Zack Snyder and his DC movies. I'm not going to go into it again. But if you're anticipating for this to be something good or revolutionary, please, I want you to come to my watch along that I'm going to schedule for the premiere of Justice League so that I can openly mock you to your face.
From 6 feet apart, though.
Yes, exactly.
On Zoom.
I'm going to socially distance mock you.
Okay, so moving on, since we're talking about movies and shit, Netflix. We got to give a shout out to the CEO, Reed Hastings, and his wife, Patty Quillen. They donated $120 million to Spelman, Morehouse, and University United Negro Fund together. Not 120 a piece, but $40 million per place. And we want to give a shout out to them because that's really good. I mean, especially in this time that we're dealing with. So shout out to them. Let's also give a
you're not going to just move on like you ain't fucked that up. Like,
Hey, I went to UDC. Where my money at? Okay. Well, I just got to be Spelman in all them highfalutin black schools, okay? Because the less expensive black schools, we need money too.
They ain't gonna get it though.
So I say Diddy didn't go to UDC, so
right.
Diddy ain't never made no song about UDC.
Hey, you gonna leave my alma mater alone. We used to be Federal City College, the only black college you could go to in DC back in them days. Okay, so we got
season rage.
We got history.
There you go, Herb.
Hold on. Howard is in DC. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, but Howard is not a public. Howard is a private.
Yeah, it's a private institution. You're right.
It is. Moving forward, TikTok and K-pop fans sabotaged the Trump rally yesterday. So shout out to them, man. My baby sister over here actually got one of those tickets and know damn well she wasn't going to show up. So shout out to you guys.
I got one too.
Can I add something to this? I think Trump did more to sacrifice this rally than anyone. Okay.
I mean, he promised that he's going to have 300,000 people show up, and 10,000 showed up. So
there were dozens and dozens of people.
Wait. Which brings me to my change.org that I created. And so I have a petition out right now, a real live petition to make June 14th, which is Donald Trump's birthday, Obama Appreciation Day. So I really would appreciate it if everybody signed the petition and shared it. Real live.
Hell yeah.
Well,
you put it up on the fan page
Obama that day,
right?
As a matter of fact. So,
I'm gonna put it back on the fan page. But yeah, nah.
Let's go. I don't care. Let's go.
Oh, and just to end this off in the perfect way, have any of you guys heard about the trailer Cracker?
I have not.
No.
You haven't seen it? Oh my God!
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh yes, okay. No, it's a series that's being made. Okay, in the reverses of roles.
So there's a white supremacist who I guess he gets knocked out in this situation. Yeah. He gets knocked out, and he has a dream. And I guess his dream sequence is they go back in time, and it's basically the roles are reversed. White people are slaves, black people are the slave owners. And I mean, everything that they have said as far as like going back in time, as far as raping, pillaging, hanging people, everything is done in the reverse way. And
hey, look it up on Facebook. They show you the trailer and everything. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying the white people are going to be so traumatized. And
so
I feel like they deserve it. Sorry.
Back in like the mid 90s, there was a movie with John Travolta called White Man's Burden.
White Man's Burden.
Yes.
And I feel like it's pretty much the same thing. It's just
well, hold on. The only difference is White Man's Burden took place in modern time. It took place in the 90s. Okay, this goes all the way back to when slavery was legal, and blacks were owning whites and lynching them, raping them, separating them from their families, and the whole really and it's graphic.
Really graphic.
Right. I mean, I get that the roles are reversed, so black Africans colonized America instead of white people, apparently.
Yeah, basically, yes.
I get that. I'm just saying it's still the same bread and butter of like the fictional role reversal to like make white people supposedly more empathetic or sympathetic towards the black culture. But as soon as that movie's over, they're gonna go right back to their. As soon as the movie's over, they're gonna go right back to their.
Yeah.
That's what I'm. Yeah. That's what I'm.
Honestly, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Troy.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and honestly, some people take shit like that and they go a little bit too far with it. You know what I mean? Like some white people will come out of that and go, oh well, no, I was no way I'm gonna let that happen, and they become even more of a bigot or more of a racist. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, I don't know.
Me personally, I don't think I want to see something like that, because regardless of whatever way you want to make it visually, it's still going to remind me of what my people went through and are still going through to this day. So I don't have a need to watch that shit because I live it. I don't want to see that. So I'm good.
I mean, all right. So on the flip side, though, I know I just said shit on that movie, but like we all watched Django Unchained, and that was kind of like, to put it mildly, like revenge porn. But for like black slaves, so that's basically like I feel like that's what Cracker is. All right, off camera guy.
Well, it's serious when off camera comes on camera. You got it.
This means take a sip of your drink and listen to the man talk.
Yeah, I didn't even know dude was here.
He got him.
Oh, that was
why?
This happens every episode, people. Water, it will shoot.
All right, so real talk. At some point, I still have to sit down and kind of show the movie Roots to my children. And I remember my visceral reaction when I first had to watch Roots and realized this happened to our people. You know what? If they can actually feel that gut-wrenching pain of how could somebody do this to someone to finally humanize us in their eyes, put that shit on every network available.
Yep.
That's fair. That's fair to show it to them. I've seen it. I see it every day. We just saw somebody get shot in the back at a Wendy's. We just saw, like, getting ahead of myself.
Hey, but look, I've never seen a white man hung from a tree. I've never seen a white man dragged behind a pickup truck, tied to a pickup truck and ran down the street. I ain't never seen a white woman raped on, by somebody who owned them personally. So I could watch this, and I could watch it with no problem. Okay,
that's fair.
You got your Scott.
You never seen a white man break the bull either. So it's like, a black man do that either. So I get it. Like, some people forget that black men were also raped in front of their women to downplay how strong they are. And so this is the thing. If we can reverse this and put it on and put a different lens on it, it may humanize some of the white people who still see us as less than. So I'm saying if the message is to try to show, hey, what happened was fucked up. And the fact that Black people are still upset about it to this day, because nothing really has changed. You just took the chains off, but we're still chained to that same mentality. And that's what I'm saying. So if this helps the cause and helps drive change, then I'm here for it.
But Rita, it happened so long ago. Why can't you guys get over it?
You know what? No. I'm so tired. No, I'm really tired of that, because here's the thing that bugs me the most. The Confederacy was 1861 to 1865. It literally is the span of maybe a presidential term. Obama's been in office longer than the Confederacy, yet they still wave those flags around. So that whole it's been so long ago shit.
No. Tell them exactly what was on your birth certificate.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper lasted longer.
You know what? When the old guy was born, okay.
Your birth certificate was chiseled?
No, it's true story. My birth certificate said for race, it said color. Okay. So I mean, it wasn't as long ago as we think it was.
You're right.
And so no, I'm like, hey, show it, because you know what they need to know. It's like, you know, I'm gonna draw a strange parable here. When I went to go see the movie Django. No, not Django. The one where Jesus Christ was
the Passion of the Christ.
I mean, I didn't know anything about how that went down till I saw that movie. That movie, I had to take a drink when I got out of that movie. Okay.
I had to walk out the theater.
Oh, like, it reached you to that level. So if this movie could reach somebody to that level, then there's going to be something out of that. Because that movie, I couldn't even talk about it for the first 20 minutes. I had to sit down at a bar and decompress. Okay.
So just to make sure there's no misconception, I am talking about me personally.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh no, we know.
So I'm not saying that people should not go watch it. If you feel as though it's going to be some type of catharsis, go watch it. Go see it. Me personally, I deal with shit every day. I'm just going to say, I deal with white people every day. And I don't want to get pushed in the wrong direction by any type of influences. So, but we got to, let's switch gears a little bit.
Yeah, let's keep it going.
Because speaking of that R word,
Passions of the Christ is pretty funny.
Let's get into our throwback, our character of the week. I mean,
you need therapy, dude. Right. You need therapy. Right. Okay? I'm sorry, he needs therapy. Right.
Just saying.
Character of the week. Today's character of the week is Zeus, or Jupiter if you're from Rome. He is born of two titans, Kronos and Rhea. The titans were before the gods, the Greek gods, and then when the Greek gods came into power, they overthrew and killed the titans. And then Zeus was the god of the sky, or king of gods from Mount Olympus. Zeus, father of the year right there. He definitely took the game fuck, marry, or kill way too literal. One of his most famous sons is Hercules, which is a demigod, half man, half god. When one of his jaunts to Earth, he decided to take the form of a mortal, and he had sex with a woman, and the outcome was the birth of Hercules. And his mother was very jealous of Zeus's, as she should be, because he was cheating on her. Was very had a hatred for Hercules, but this is about Zeus. In all honesty, this is the tame PG version of a lot of the Greek mythology. It's not really much else to say. He's Zeus. He's wacky. He's got a toga and shoots lightning bolts. All right, back to you guys.
Yeah, let me go check it out.
Okay, we're back.
Yeah, we were talking about why Rick is going to hell, right? Weren't we talking about when I left, Rick was going to hell, right?
So here's the thing. What you don't know, I'm a preacher's kid. I can say what I want.
So that definitely means you're going to hell. Your dad's sending you to hell. Okay.
No, I'm not going to allow him. I'm not going to allow him to make it seem like all PK kids are going to hell, because that's not true.
No, I was talking about him specifically. That's all.
Yeah, no. Rick is definitely going with gasoline drawers on. No question.
Hey, look, I'll meet you there. Okay.
Listen, it's going.
Hey, meet me at the corner of Fire and
Brimstone. I say I got oceanfront property by River Styx.
Don't bring no cheap shit either. Okay.
But the reason why we chose Zeus as character of the week is because he's the father of the year. Oh my God!
Like, no, he's not.
Because I had to take. Well, we chose Mystique as for Mother's Day.
I mean, she was.
We don't even know how many
Mystique
kids.
was a very versatile mother.
He's procreated with his sister. His sister.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know about Greek mythology, Zeus, king of the gods, whatever, like you said, in Greek mythology, it was Greece. They did a lot of fucked up shit in Greece. A whole lot.
It's like watching a Game of Thrones show, House of Targaryen. Yeah.
Let's simplify. Let me simplify it even more. Zeus stuck his dick in everything. Everything.
He did that tree. I'm on
it. We're all women, okay? Just all
right.
Everything.
That's why
everything.
And that's why when I did the character of the week, I had to do like the tame PG. I'm like, how can I fit all this?
We don't know how many. One of his symbols was a bull.
Y'all really challenged me. Y'all really challenged me.
It's quite possible that he did do that. I mean, you know, I don't want to say it out loud.
He was also named after one of the first. He was also named after one of the first elements too, which is Jupiter. So
look, Zeus sitting up on Olympus. Hey, that frog looking real good. Zeus, what are you talking about?
And I'm going to reiterate: didn't matter if it was a male or female. Okay.
It didn't. It was ancient Greece.
Hey,
this reminds me of that meme. Did y'all see the meme that was going around of like what Trump supporters like Google search is? And it's like, will my dog tell on me if I have sex with it? Will my dog snitch on? Like, have y'all seen that meme?
No.
Y'all what is up with your Google search? We need to see it.
Why are you searching that? I need to know that.
I didn't search it. It just showed up on my newsfeed. And I was like,
your algorithm.
That porn just showed up on mine.
Right.
Hey, man.
But you know what? Hey, but real talk though,
judgment-free zone, man. I mean,
one thing I gotta say about Zeus though is how epic his beard look. Right.
He was beard goals. Hashtag beard goals.
Time out. That was the most unenthusiastic. First off, I'm gonna pull back the curtain, and all camera girls gonna cuss me out about this. I've been dropping hints to get to this promo. This whole
that's why I've been laughing.
Beard. Because
that's why I've been laughing the whole time. Because Trey's been busting this shit up.
Like, we need to wrap it up. Let's come on. In case you didn't know, we here at Blurs and Whiskey. We here at Blurs and Whiskey are sponsored by none other than I need to check the Beard Struggle. So
we can't. Okay, there it is.
If you need to get your beard right, you need to go up and hit us up at blurswhiskey.com. Click on the link for thebeardstruggle.com. Use our promo code BLURS1, and we will get you and your beard on Olympian levels. We can get you electricity shooting through your follicles. Don't laugh while I'm doing my promo, Nick. Shut up. Use the promo code BLURS1 and you can get yourself a nice little bundle pack with a good soft brush for your beard. Get your beard feeling nice and soft. My favorite fragrance is the Freya's Bliss, and I've got nothing but rave reviews from it. And if your beard is on a little struggle level, get that scruff balm.
Hey man, all beards matter, man. All beards matter.
No, hey Rita, we're not gonna listen to you say all beards matter. For the last 2 weeks, you have routinely talked about the comfortability of beards and their suitability.
That's why I'm laughing. Now, I don't really mean that shit. Look, you and your whack ass beard, if you got one.
Whack beard?
You know what? I fucks with you. You are
whack beard? Not over here.
I said whack beard if you have one. See, you're not listening.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was about
you said wife beard or white beard?
I said whack.
Cam, you okay?
Oh, damn. Okay.
No, I'm good.
See, you got a seasoned beard.
I did what I had to do for Kobe. You know what I'm saying?
You good. I didn't say nothing.
Y'all want to go on my beard. Y'all know I got ammo. That's okay, though. Y'all say you want to smoke. You don't want to smoke. You know what I'm saying? I can pull files. I will pull files on every single one.
Why is the picture up? Why was that?
Oh, camera guy want to smoke too. Okay.
Get him.
So
they
can't hear off camera. Guys.
It's okay to have a starter beard. It's okay. It's okay. You got a starter beard. Okay.
I wasn't expecting that. I'm sorry, Cam. I wasn't talking
about you. Hey, but tell the truth. Hey, tell the truth. Since you got the scrub bomb, it's been coming in real nice, hasn't it?
Amongst other things, yes, the scruff bomb is working.
All right.
You've been taking that testosterone from FNX Fit?
I've definitely been getting a lot of vitamin C. So
when you say among other things, what have you been putting your beard into?
Oh. You really want to go down that? You really want to go down that rabbit hole? Let him.
Well, she doesn't have Twitch right now, so I can't, but yes.
I'm trying to do this read for FNX Fit.
It all matters where you dip it now. That's the show. Okay.
All I'm saying is she has no problem where she sits either. That's all I'm saying.
Out being comfortable. How many times did I say this?
Well, speaking of heavy lifting,
and
sounds like we got to get some workout in as well.
So speaking of virility, if you would like to get your virility up and be your best self and look like an Olympian, then you guys should go ahead and click the link down in our description on blurredsandwhiskey.com and go to FNXFit.com. They have all your needs. They've got pre-workouts. They've got whey proteins. They've got testosterone pills for some of you that are lacking, or maybe some of you old dudes that need it.
See, you know what? See, really? Seriously? Really? Okay, we going there?
Twice?
Okay, can I say something in your defense real quick? I want to say something in your defense.
Hey, dude, come back.
Let me finish my let me finish my read. Then we go ahead. So go to blurredsandwhiskey.com. Click on the FNXFit.com link. Use our promo code FNXBlurs13 to get 15% off your purchase. Yeah, go get you some FNX Fit and become your best self.
Hey, look, when that Cavassier comes to your nose, it's fucked up, ain't it?
It's the worst taste in the world to have Cavassier in the back of your nose. We will never do promos for Cavassier.
Hey, look, he said I couldn't get him, but last time
but that's what you get. What did you learn from freaking shaking ginger beer? That's your fault.
You know what? Fam, that's a good point. That ginger beer stings like a motherfucker too, bro. I ain't lying. Ginger beer, Cavassier, god damn. See?
But the shaking of the ginger beer, though.
I got 20 more minutes to get you again.
Topic 1. All right, get your laughs out. We've definitely had some fun, and we've gotten to the point where we're at the halfway point in the show. There's certain people like to say that we get a little extra sauce. So now we're about to get into some deep shit. The first topic that we have for you guys today is the unfortunate demise of Rayshon Brooks that happened a couple weeks ago. He was shot in the back.
Rashard.
I apologize. Rayshard Brooks. He was, in my opinion, murdered by the police, but we do have some good news. Turns out the cops have actually been charged for his murder. Anything you guys want to add to that?
Yeah. Oh, let me speak on this first, please.
Go ahead.
Because the first thing I'm going to say is he was murdered. Make no mistake. So we're not debating that, but I don't think none of us are going to debate that. But where I have a problem with Brother Brooks is when you get arrested by the police, don't reach for the taser, okay? Don't fight back. I mean, first of all, you fell asleep in the line at Wendy's. So you was already drunk, okay, in the Wendy's line. And by the way, who ain't been there before? Just saying, okay? But when you fall asleep in line in the Wendy's and they pull you over, okay, and you're drunk, then you're supposed to be arrested. They're supposed to arrest you, okay? You're supposed to go in handcuffs. That's the way the law is written, because they don't know if you're going to start your car back up and go out and run over somebody else or call somebody else a fatality. So you're supposed to be arrested. Then you're going to fight back during the arrest and grab a taser, and you think nothing's going to happen to you? There has to be a law of common sense, okay? There has to be. Now, he was murdered, make no mistake. They went way too far. You ran after him, shot him in the back, uncalled for. But at the same time, to think that he didn't share in some of this, I'm sorry. There's just so far I can go.
So my problem is they did nothing to de-escalate.
They talked to him for 30 minutes. They talked to him for 30 minutes.
Yes, they did talk to him for 30 minutes, but did they do anything to really de-escalate? You know what I mean? Like, and so I think there are a myriad of things that they could have done differently. You know what I mean? I think they could have, you know what I mean? If you're going to arrest him, maybe pull him over to the side and like talk him down first before you just go right into your, we're placing you under. Like, no, just like my problem is the police do nothing to de-escalate. You know what I mean? They do nothing to try and bring people down.
So I got something to say in conjunction to how Rick was saying about de-escalation. I know Mr. Proper has. I don't know if Herb has, but I also know that off-camera guy and maybe Rick. We've all done like nightclub security, bouncing, and stuff like that. We, with no guns, have dealing with alcoholic and drunk people, high, intoxicated, or whatever. All like, for me, it was 3 days a week. I dealt with the worst. Yeah. So we learned from our job how to de-escalate situations, how to talk to people. Like, in my personal opinion, there's 3 F's when someone is drunk. They either want to fight, fuck, or a friend. And there's a thin line between all 3. So we already know when we're dealing with someone who's intoxicated, like they can change or whatever. So we're, like in my particular job, because we weren't officially bouncers, we were security or staff, we had to not like actually do physical contact with patrons. I learned to not leave bruises, but that's a whole separate subject. But but you know, what I'm saying, like, I wasn't allowed to strike them. I wasn't allowed to strike them, but I had to learn how to detain and hold people. And that's where my training came in, to de-escalate situations. Now, if I'm doing this like 3 nights a week, learn how to de-escalate people who are already always like in the worst state of mind or free or whatever, I'm pretty sure people who are trained like, as police officers, should be trained better than this. But I see like bouncers are handling intoxication situations way better than I've seen police handle situations. And that's what I think Rick was going at, because it's like, he was drunk, he was intoxicated. We're not saying that he was not at fault. The thing the biggest issue that people say is when we say unarmed, or like, saying like, or overly escalated situations. Like, yeah, he had a taser in this particular situation. So was he innocent? We're not saying he was innocent. We're not saying he was not free of crime. We weren't saying he was not free of any wrongdoing. But what we're saying is he didn't deserve to be executed.
Okay. Hot take. Probably gonna piss some people off with this. I do agree that he was wrong for. Okay, start from the beginning. I think the way they approached the situation at first, they were having the conversation with him. They were talking to him for 30 minutes. I think they did attempt to de-escalate it, but they figured they got him to a point where they could say, okay, now we can take you to jail. And he was not having it. He'd been to jail before, he'd been through the process before. And actually, one thing I talked to Rick about last night is like when you've been through that process, it puts you in a fight or flight mode. So sometimes you got to use your discretion and say, like, I need to look at this person, look at the situation, and I got to manage it and make sure that I put this, like, the dude said you could have put me in Uber. And honestly, they could have. Yes, it's not part of their protocol. You should take somebody who's intoxicated to jail or whatever for operating a vehicle. But sometimes if it's not a problem, It's just easier to be like, you know what, call Uber, go home. So
and you know what? I'm sorry. If you're drunk behind the wheel of a car, you are a dangerous person. Period.
I agree with you. However, at that point, before it escalated to an altercation, he wasn't even in the vehicle when they got up there. He was out of the vehicle. He fell asleep, yes. He pulled it over, he got out of the vehicle. At that point, he's no longer a threat at that point. And if he's cognizant enough to have a conversation and say something as clear as, I need an Uber. I'm just trying to go home.
Well, here's the thing. Now, maybe I saw something wrong, but I thought I saw a video of them dragging him out of the car.
I did not see that.
No, he didn't. They never dragged him out the car. Okay. He didn't start resisting until they started putting the handcuffs on him.
Yeah,
they can't put the handcuffs on him.
He was like, "This, I don't know. Why do I gotta go to jail? I'm not in the vehicle. Just let me go."
And let me say this, because I preface my statements with, he did not deserve what happened to him. There's no way this should have ended in gunfire. No way. Okay, you chase him down till he runs out of breath or whatever. Or there was look. My job is, by description, crisis intervention. It's what I do for a living. Okay, so that's the first thing we're taught is de-escalation. Okay, it's part of the training I go through. We call it CPI, the Crisis Prevention Institute. Okay, the 80% of the training we get is in de-escalation. Only the last 10 to 15 or 20% is how to actually physically restrain or do things like that. But the first 80% of it is de-escalation tactics. So I'm down with that. All I'm saying is that, brother man, when you resist arrest in today's world, you got to understand what's going to happen. We watch the news. We watch the news every day. We have seen what's been going on in this world. Okay? And to think that nothing's going to happen to you when you take out a weapon of any kind. Okay? The first thing none of y'all was alive when Terrence Johnson did what he did, and he went up in a police station and shot them 2 cops. And when that white man got on the radio and said, anybody who challenges a Prince George's County cop had better be ready to meet their maker. Okay? And he said this on the radio. And that's something I'll never forget. So I was always raised up with the theory like, okay, you comply and then you grieve. In other words, if they're placing you under arrest, go ahead, let them put the cuffs on, let them take you down, and then you get yourself a good lawyer, and then you fight it that way. Because I don't need my son's name, his face on my T-shirt. I don't need that, okay? I don't need him to be a martyr.
None of us do.
Okay? But shut your mouth up, shut your mouth, go quietly, and then we'll fight this another day. Okay.
We understand that. Every single one of us has been taught that method of comply, and and the parents will handle it, or someone else will handle it, lawyers will handle it. You do your part, just don't end up on a T-shirt. We've all been taught that, but we've also seen various clips of those who have complied.
I'm
not trying to justify like what had happened to him, and I can use this as a parable to like a story that happened to me when I was like in 3rd grade. One of my teachers called the dad up to the school, and dad came to the school, whooped the son's ass in front of everybody, right? So that left the image in front of everybody. I wasn't really doing anything, and then the teacher like said, "Do you want me to call your parents next?" Now, even though I wasn't really doing anything, I flipped I'm just saw like some parent whoop a kid's ass. I'm like, why would you call my mom to come here whoop my ass? And then I started like freaking out, and that escalated into a situation for my parents to be called. So because of my mindset of just seeing something that had happened in trauma, I won't say trauma, but basically that's kind of what happened. So in his mindset, maybe when he saw the handcuffs, he saw all the clips of everyone getting shot with handcuffs and hands up and stuff like that. You can comply all you want, but at the end of the day, you might still end up shot. So he had the fight or flight
PTSD.
And he said, "Yo, I'm not going down like that," and tried to run away. And that's
by the way, I mean, you know what? I can't argue with that point. It's a logical statement. It's it makes sense. It's like I said, it's just my thing is that when you grab for a weapon from somebody who's already armed, bad things are gonna happen. Bad things are gonna happen.
Yes, I agree. Reedy,
that was Wendy's though.
Reedy, you had something you wanted to say?
Oh, y'all remember that I was here?
I'm sorry.
I remember that you're here.
Sorry,
and I'm asking if you had something you wanted to say.
Yeah, I did, Rita. But it got said already. So never mind.
Look, I'm trying, okay?
But I want to add one thing in there that y'all didn't add in there, since my point got, said already. I just want to add a petty thing in there. And it's like, look, the safest place for you to pass out is on the toilet. Moving on.
Hey, look, not a Wendy's.
I'm so glad I wasn't drinking on that one. Real quick. Real quick. Before we jump to the next topic, I do have one last thing to say. King Labeezy, Big Koosh, he said police should work in the jails first for 2 to 3 years with the focus on de-escalation training as a correctional officer. I agree.
Bro.
Like police don't get trained nearly enough in this country.
Listen.
All they do is pass the physical.
So me and Papa Royal are in the same profession, right? We have to go through CPI training every other year. Police should have to do the same shit.
Hey, let me tell you something. I do it every year just because, okay?
Right.
I don't ever want my card to expire. So I do it every August. I go through the same training. And by the way, I'm the longest tenured crisis technician in Prince George's County. I've been doing crisis work for 26 out of my 28 years, okay? So I know de-escalation, okay? and I'm sorry, you're right. Police can train for 8 months and then they on the street. That's wrong. You need to be on training for 2 or 3 years.
Real quick, y'all have that training. You know what's funny? I've done customer service for majority of my life. And that's one of the main things that I've been taught in customer service is to find out what the customer needs, de-escalate any problems. And we do that shit every day. So you mean to tell me I'm trained better than a fucking police officer?
Yeah,
I am.
Pretty much. Hold on, because here's the problem. Aggression. See, the problem is aggression breeds aggression. If you go at somebody aggressively, you are going to meet aggression back. So the first rule of de-escalation is you speak in a calm voice and you take a calm stance. They even teach you the little, Rick, you know what I'm talking about, where they teach you the little 1 foot forward and arms out like that.
Right.
Really?
It's almost like I'm begging.
Yeah.
This right here.
But one thing that we forgot to mention about Trey is every lonely housewife dream by being the dude that delivers the packages. So you're welcome. Let's move on to the next topic, please. We got 8 minutes left. Moving on.
What can Brown do for you?
Wow.
All right. Hey, Herb.
Yeah.
So like I said, that all happened at Wendy's. What happened at McDonald's?
Oh shit! So just in case if y'all haven't heard, so apparently a cop got this lady cop was finished her shift. I guess it was like for 12 hours or whatever, and she decided to go ahead and get herself an Egg McMuffin. Turns out that she got some shitty service that everybody gets shitty service with at McDonald's. It's part of life.
This ain't Chick-fil-A.
Huh?
This ain't Chick-fil-A.
Except for Chick-fil-A. Hey, that racist bastard makes a good chicken, and he trained these Negroes properly. Okay? Say what you want to, because look, if they can give good service in District Heights, they can give good service anywhere.
Damn.
Okay?
They do.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead about all the scaring there.
She decided this because apparently what happened was the lady asked for an Egg McMuffin. It took too long. They told her to move up to the front to where the wait area. It took longer than it took. Typical shit that people go through. But in her case, she feels because she's a police officer and every police officer has gotten the raw end of the stick or whatever it is. She felt like she was discriminated against.
Well, maybe
welcome
she
to being black,
okay? Don't say. Do not say welcome to being black to that.
No, I said maybe
she needed a raw end of a stick, and then she wouldn't be like
Chill out. Chill.
All I'm saying is Muffin Cop over here. She was literally crying about like how long it took to get an Egg McMuffin. I'm like, all right. And she's like, just cancel the order. I don't even trust your order anymore. Like, I'll just take the coffee.
She's definitely PMSing.
I'm over here like,
or it's been a long time. And she didn't have any more batteries for her vibrator, and she couldn't deal. That was what happened.
The last batteries went to her taser instead.
She can say that.
You gotta get the good battery.
She can say that. We can't, y'all.
But here's my thing.
You gotta get the good matter of fact.
No.
I'm fucking with you. I'm not actually gonna do it.
Here's my thing. So you feel frustrated by your job. I've been a teacher for 28 years. I've been accused of all kinds of stuff that I ain't do. I got put off my job for what? Almost a month and a half for a kid that made up a completely fictitious story about me. Okay? You've been misaccused or mistreated or whatever. I've been teaching for 28 years. Bitch, cry me a river. Okay?
She really did cry a river though.
Whatever.
Look, I told you what happened.
Can I ask a question though? Who eats just an egg McMuffin? I think you get sausage or bacon.
So her whole
well, maybe she already had her hash browns and
No, she didn't get none of that. So her whole order was an egg McMuffin, hash brown, and a coffee. You know, she did the McDonald's app. She did it beforehand, so that's how fat she is. She has a McDonald's app. She did it beforehand.
Why is
I got McDonald's app. Watch it, okay?
I already told y'all why. I don't know why y'all trying to. I told you.
Say it, we can't.
What, she was PMSing?
Either or.
Say
or it's been a while. like Aaron Lewis once said, it's been a while.
Either she
her McMuffin, basically, she was feeling some type of way.
I don't want any meat. I don't want any meat.
In my opinion, that's White Tears moment number one because they've been flowing all week. Now when y'all mentioned earlier about the Trump rally. The thing rally.
There were dozens and dozens of people there.
There were so many empty seats. It was like WCW back in like the late 90s. But no, what's funny is that like I shared like a Twitter video of all the black Republican Trump supporters in their little segregated section dancing to like Michael Jackson. And I'm like, there's so much wrong to unpack in that one video.
Yeah.
I'm like, first of all, they all had no rhythm. And like, this is me talking. Like, they all had no rhythm. It was like a dozen Carlton.
What the hell?
Like, hey, were they doing the robot rhythm on that joint? Okay.
No,
they might as well. He might have been better off doing the robot.
Hey, the dude from Chappelle Show was in there just doing this in the background.
That's what I'm talking about right there, okay? That's what I was talking about.
But literally like all of the black Trump hats, like I'm seeing like black and Trump hats in all various skin tones, but it was all one section. And that made me laugh more than anything else. Like, you're like,
you know what? It was called
the Bojangles chicken and sat in the back.
I don't want them in the front row. Put them in the nosebleeds.
And
they don't have to see their black faces.
I'm telling you, they put them in the Uncle Ruckus section. Okay, those new niggas over there.
Here you go.
And then they go try to
bucket you.
And then they try to like act like the liberals try to act like we ain't got a party. We got a party right here. It's like all like really?
Oh man. Oh, that's funny.
Tell me.
All right, guys. We have literally two. Well, I don't know what all camera guys are gonna let us do or not, but we've got.
No, we have to do the last segment at least.
Truth or dare?
That's what I was leading into.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck it.
Let me moderate, woman.
Hey, you're not the only person qualified to moderate, my nigga.
Where is my super suit?
Okay.
Hey, we still got throwback show of the week because we got to hear Rita's rant.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
no,
shit, yeah.
I'm not.
No.
Not enough time.
When I do
not enough time.
No. So here's the thing. Real quick, just to address both of y'all. We don't have that real time parameter no more. We can go over a little bit. So everybody calm your tits and let's go in the throwback show of the week.
Throwback show of the week.
Go ahead, Herb.
Oh, my wife and kids. So
what about them? I love my wife and kids.
Hold on, look at her face. Hey, real quick. I want y'all to look at Rita's face as she soaks it in because she's about to go on her SpongeBob rant.
Y'all really not gonna want to throw my throwback show of the week because y'all weren't even alive. Okay.
Okay. So
there's a lot
your own.
Let's start off by saying My Wife and Kids was a show that was on. I believe it was the CW.
ABC. It was on ABC.
It was on ABC. That's the Damon Wayans joint, right?
Yeah,
it was on ABC.
No, it eventually got to. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
When I started watching it, it was on the CW.
That's because that's where all black shows go to die. Okay.
No. That's TV One.
So this show starred Damon Wayans, Tisha Campbell, George Gore II, who's actually from the DMV area.
With the biggest head in the history of television.
Jesus Christ, yes. Parker Posey, and let me before we go, Jennifer Freeman, before we get into this, as much as Rita always talks about The Rock, and we have to hear that shit every fucking week, let's go ahead and talk about Parker Posey.
First of all, you don't hear it every week. The lies.
If y'all
okay,
what's the name? What's the name? OCG. Please put the pictures.
First of all, you heard about Roman Reigns last week. Get it right.
You talk about them motherfuckers every week. Okay, we have to hear it.
So you gonna sit here and try to tell me that Tisha Campbell, Hunchback of Notre Dame ass,
you're not talking about
Parker Posey? That's what you're gonna try to see and tell
Parker Posey. We talking about Parker Posey.
Herb. So let me ask you a question. You seem, Rita, you seem to think that we are holding her to some standard. We never did.
I'm mad at whoever the executives were that decided.
Okay, hold on, wait.
So maybe she was a good
Is
fit for the
anybody else
audition.
here an executive of UPN, TV1, or ABC? Did we choose this? Did we choose her?
Why do you I really want to know, what do you have against her specifically? Like, did it start from Martin? Were you a Pam fan? Is that what it was? Did it start from Little Shop of Horrors? Is that what it started from?
I'm always going.
Let her rant. Let her go.
And her B2Bs and whatever else. But Tisha Campbell, old strong forehead ass, you ain't never say nothing about her.
Oh, so it's the light skin thing you got a problem with. I'm just asking.
Because I'm like a hybrid. I'm
here to say because you got a fair confess in your damn self, okay?
In the summertime,
don't be going on the yellow girl or whatever because you just a shade off, okay? But you're an attractive shade off, okay?
But with my wife and kids, wife and kids.
It's not fucking Sydney. I put problems with the fact that it says so fellas.
Man, give me Keisha all day.
I was about to say Keisha in the argument. Keisha in the argument, period.
So let me ask y'all a question then, since we got like a little bit of time left. On Mother's Day, we had like the mother off. Yeah, so it's Father's Day. So can we do like the Father's Day like mashup battles?
Yes.
Thank you, Cam, because I told them niggas we ain't had time. Let's move on. Thank you.
What is the point of a segue if you're going to pull up the point that?
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Blurs and Whiskey, where we've moved into petty overtime.
Is that right into the Petty Town 3000?
No, Nick, you already got one segment. Keep it moving.
Oh man! All right. So what are we gonna do?
Dad fight.
Celebrity deathmatch style.
Dad fight.
So did we have like what? Al Bundy versus I think we did Al. How about we? I got one. Al Bundy. Okay.
Oh, okay. So we have a
slideshow. All right, so we got
first up.
I got
it. I was gonna say we got Tony Soprano versus Walter White.
Walter White in a walkover. Okay. Walter White 8 days a week.
Wait a second. Are we talking about one-on-one fights or infrastructure fights?
Right.
Do they have their teams with them?
I thought we were talking about one-on-one fights.
I think
if it's a one-on-one, Tony Soprano's gonna mop the floor.
No. I'm gonna say no. Trey. I'm gonna tell
Tony Soprano's slow and fat. No, he was about to die of a heart attack anyway. Okay.
I'm gonna tell you right now why Walter White would win over this. Walter White had no one else to rely on but himself. Walter White is a self-made of whatever he is. In addition to the fact that he also had a death wish.
Yeah.
He also taught in public school. So
Bro.
I'm just saying.
Bro, he went into a drug dealer's den and made his own explosive crystal meth and got out of there like a fucking ninja vanish.
Okay. All right. So what you're saying is,
Walter White's
hold
will
on,
to live
wait a second.
It's going to outweigh anything.
What you're saying is Walter White has prep time.
What we going with this bullshit again?
No CG talking here.
Hey, everybody. I went there.
No.
Okay, here's what I think. First of all, if you're talking about a fight, it's by any means necessary. And Walter White was the king of by any means necessary. Okay? That Bama built his own little submachine gun in the last episode. Where
So what you're saying is he's the Malcolm X version of this?
No. I don't know where you went with that.
Hold on. Real quick. Papa Royal, what you don't realize is what you just did is you superseded your argument from a past debate that you've had with Trey. And you just turned Walter White into Batman and you proved his point.
That's my cousin right there. He saw it.
All right.
We're up until right now.
Okay,
what's the next dad matchup? We got.
And by the way, that's tough to distinguish yourself amongst these assholes here. Okay.
What we got for the next dad matchup?
We see
Peter Griffin.
Homer.
We have to go Homer on this. Are we talking about who's worse or who's better?
The fight between Peter and the chicken?
Yes, indeed. He went 12 rounds with the chicken. Okay.
Hold on. Which I don't realize is when they did the crossover episode with The Simpsons and Family Guy, we've actually already seen this fight. It ends in a draw because they're both equally as stupid.
But we know Peter. Gets Homer at work.
Y'all need to do more shit in your life because I wouldn't have known that. Okay.
It's called blurring.
Hey, man, quarantine makes you watch shit.
That's what we do.
You know.
Listen.
Who the fuck knew that?
I'm still going to go with Homer.
All right, who's next?
Okay, who's next?
Who we got?
Tim Allen versus
Draw.
Hold on. All right, so here's the thing.
Wait.
I was gonna say.
Do y'all know Peter Rock and Jason Momoa on y'all screen right now?
Everybody ignore her. Everybody ignore her.
Tim Allen was a drug dealer, but Tim Allen was a drug dealer.
We gonna get to it. Rick, what you got to say?
Tim Allen was a drug dealer, but he's also a snitch, right? And then Bob Saget, most people think of him as wholesome dad from Full House. Bob Saget has a dark side.
Yes,
so
he does.
Bob Saget's dark side comes out and he beats up on little snitch bitch Tim Allen.
Wow.
He beats up.
Have you forgot about Tim's neighbor? The nigga who never
let me ask you a question.
He ain't show his face for a reason because he was shit.
No.
I'm gonna shut the whole right down.
Bob Saget is gonna beat up Tim Allen with Baby Michelle.
Hey, look, no, stop. I'm gonna set down the whole argument because we're not talking about the actors, we're talking about the characters. So we're actually talking about Tim the Two-Man Taylor versus Danny Tanner, and that's what we're talking about. And Tim the Two-Man Taylor is gonna give Danny the guy the work. So it's gonna happen. Like, I'm sorry.
He's only going.
Wait. Did y'all sneak Obama and the commander and Queef in here?
I did that on purpose. We all knew who the fuck we was voting for.
Hold up. Guys, all right. So Danny Tanner, right? You got the neat freak versus the klutz. Like, Tim the Two-Man Taylor is going to hurt himself and give himself coronavirus before Danny Tanner even got a fight.
Look,
Danny Tanner
had a bitch tied up in the attic. I'm telling you now.
What episode of Full House are you talking about?
I actually looked up to that man. Don't do that.
All right. So guys, we gotta let Rita have her fantasy match. We gotta be fair.
Oh, I already did. It's fine. It done moved on in my mind.
Oh, you don't want to share it with your other cohorts who did?
I mean, you can put it back on the screen if you want to. I mean, I'm not gonna be mad.
It's a slideshow. It's gonna come back around anyway. I'm just.
So is this Hobbs versus Aquaman, or is this?
No, this is real life. This is shirtless versus shirtless.
Family.
Or is this Roadblock versus the kid the tour guide from
this is shirtless Samoan versus shirtless Samoan. That's what it is. I'm just gonna call a spade a spade.
But I thought Rock was half white, right? He's half white.
He's half black.
No, half black.
He's half black.
Okay.
Look, Jason wins because he got a black wife. He put his dick in a black bitch and he made children. So Jason wins. Next.
Yeah, but The Rock did too. The Rock did too, twice.
What the fuck just happened?
yeah, I'm gone.
That makes no sense.
All right, you blew me away with that one. I'm going. I'm trying to put this together right now.
Okay. Did you guys enjoy your Juneteenth?
Pass the Cavassier.
We will not be bringing Cavassier back on this show.
I like how every drink that always does this. All right, cool. Juneteenth. So is it now being an official holiday yet, or like?
Yeah, because Trump just made it famous. Didn't you hear that?
Because you know what? That's my problem though. Because of Trump, now Juneteenth is gonna be like the new Cinco de Mayo. You're gonna have like white liberals over here like, oh man.
Listen, all I gotta say is the moment we see them go out in the droves in blackface, we start whooping everybody's ass.
No, you're not gonna see that. What you're gonna see is a bunch of white people out in their Pelosi cloth. And they're gonna be out there kneeling and shit every Juneteenth.
Did you call it Pelosi?
And that's when you kick him in the face and say, "Get your punk ass up." That you ain't qualified. Get up.
So y'all just want to act like y'all ain't hear him say Pelosi.
No, we did.
I heard
whenever white people appropriate something, they take it for themselves. So they no longer can take claws. They're Pelosi claws.
Pelosi claws. Hashtag Pelosi claws.
Harambe.
Hey, look, Trey, you all right, man. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? All right. I think we've touched on everything. What do we skip?
Our dads?
I was about to say.
Say what?
Our fathers? Maybe we skipped them, Maybe they
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, so Dad, you got the floor.
Okay. You want to talk about my dad? Okay.
No, we're going to talk about your season journey.
Hey, look, I just got out of therapy, okay? But I can tell you what it means to me. And, and what was important to me today was to have my kids over here. I didn't want any gifts. I didn't want nothing like that. I wanted both of them sitting down and have breakfast with me because that was the most important thing. I don't need cards. I don't need gifts. Well, I mean, I could use them. It'd be all right. That would be okay. Okay. But I had the three people that were most important to me in my life here today, which was my girlfriend and my two kids and whatnot. And I cooked breakfast because I just wanted them to come here and just spend some time with me. And that was enough for me. So,
did you also watch Hannah Montana?
Hey, look, and by the way, Hannah Montana came up. Okay, you know what? Hey, that was her mama that put that shit in her head. That was not me. Okay, she's a mixed breed, and having her as Negro, that's me. Okay.
Papa Royal, you can't say stuff like half-breed. You can't do that.
Can't say something like what?
I'm a half-breed. See, look.
Stop.
Oh Rita, I missed it. What did your shirt say
y'all
again?
need to give me a list of terms of shit I can say and shit I can't.
Oh, Afro Latino. Oh, okay, that's what's up.
If anything, it's great content.
Oh, there you go. You knew
it's cancelable content.
You knew the job was dangerous when you took it, dude. Okay.
I didn't know your ass was gonna say half breed.
I'm sorry, mixed to whatever. What are we calling it now? Other? Okay.
He's already said colored, so I mean, like,
But now, in all BS aside, like I said, it was just important for them to be here. That's to me, that's a perfect Father's Day. So, and I got them out here early enough where I can do my other stuff I want to do.
Where is my kid?
Oh, like how my dad did me when I tried to call him on FaceTime?
Here we go. Let's tell that story.
Yeah, so let's tell the story. So I called my father on FaceTime and I'm like, you ain't answered. He was like, I was doing what I did to make you. Oh,
Jesus Christ. I get in trouble. And hold on, I get in trouble.
So, in case y'all are wondering where I get it from, that's who the fuck I get it from. In case y'all was wondering.
You can't make this shit up.
Wow.
But I love my dad. I love the shit out of him because he's always honest.
Someone else love the shit out of him too.
First of all, a good father keeps the family balanced. Okay, you need that balance because usually somebody's real anxious and someone's real calm. And
right,
I'm not gonna say which one's which because it's not always gender specific, but a good father always provides balance in the household. Okay.
But what people don't know about my dad that makes the joke even more funny, he's not actually my biological father. Like,
well, hold on, no. Well, see, my daughter, my daughter's not my biological daughter.
Yeah.
But she's going to always be my little girl. Okay.
Right, exactly. And he tells me that all the time. And I met my dad when I was like 2. I don't remember.
I don't remember too.
Because he was the only father that I knew at the time. Mm-hmm. But I met him when I was 2 years old, and I'm 35, and
that's your daddy.
Will kill.
That's your dad. You know what?
He's the pappy.
Hey, look, sweetie. Here's the thing. There's a difference between a father and a daddy. Okay,
man.
You know, father is biological. That's a DNA thing. But your daddy.
But the part that's crazy is that story that they tell you that if you feed them long enough, they start looking at you. Look at that picture of me and my father together. You can't tell me I don't look like that nigga.
Maybe he really is your daddy.
He may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy.
Maybe he really is.
So hey, you know what? Hold on. Hey, Rick.
Okay.
No, hey, Rick. It's funny you mentioned that line from that movie, because like for me, like Father's Day is, it's gonna be a weird day for me always. But I watched that movie like I want to say like a month or 2 after my dad had passed. My friend even warned me. He's like, you may not want to watch this. I was like, all right, cool. So I watched the Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And in all honesty, it was not that great of a movie. It really wasn't. But that movie, like after what happened with me, that movie will always hit differently than most people for me. And, it's like, so watching that, because I tell people like during that time after my dad had passed, Netflix is hard to watch because like every show or movie was about avenging your father's death. And I'm like, damn, can't they kill a mom once in a while or something? Like,
whoa!
Yeah.
Me.
Let the man go. Let him go.
You gotta understand, like I said, like you see things differently now. Things affect you differently after, like, someone passes away that's really close to you. So it's like
y'all are brutal, man. Y'all are
bro. No, so real quick.
No. I'm not saying kill moms. I'm saying like when you realize the show.
Hey, Cam, real quick. The funniest thing, like, I've told people flat out, I'm like, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 is for people that got mom issues. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is for people that got dad issues. Like, and it's true. Like, you gotta look at this shit.
I never thought of that until right now. You're absolutely right.
No,
it's just like
because look, like just like looking at Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is hard for you. I look at Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, but I be at the end like, man.
Am I right? Didn't he kill her? Right?
Yeah,
right. And then Ego killed.
So we didn't know that until part 2, though. But in part 1, you just know that she died mysteriously.
Yeah.
Right.
No, but you said watching Galaxy 2, it had an emotional fix on you. But he's the one who killed Mom.
So for me,
so you wanted somebody to kill Mom. He's the one who killed Mom.
That part.
Yeah. Like, all right, I'm going to preface this. I'm not saying kill moms. I'm just saying.
It's everything.
All I'm saying is that when I watch, like, right after, like, to stay home and to be home and alone your thoughts, and you realize, like I said, things like that are traumatic kind of shape things differently or viewing things differently now. So I watch certain shows or movies. Like I watch shows where, where the dad dies or a father figure dies. I'm sitting thinking like, damn, that shit hits really home for me. That I don't, before that had happened, I just watched that and said, okay, this is good drama. I understand what they're going through. This is sad. Now experiencing that, I watch and interpret things that I see differently. And that's all I'm saying is like after, like I said, watching Netflix for the first week, I couldn't watch Batman or anything like that. So it's just like,
I can't watch Batman either. Trust me, it's just
yeah.
Can I say something really quick?
Go ahead.
I'm sending you virtual hugs.
I'm sorry, Patty. I'm just saying,
No, I'm sending him virtual hugs. I personally don't know what it's like to lose my father, but I do know what it's like to lose my mother, and I know that those losses are different. So, but each time you still need a hug. So hugs, Cam.
I got you. Social distance, emotional hug. I got you.
Right, just
that's and this is exactly why I got started early.
All right. So I guess we're gonna transition over to the next person in line. Big Rick.
What?
Tell us why you're going to hell.
Your dad.
Oh.
Tell us why you're going to hell and your dad is the one leading you.
Nah, I mean, like I said, first off,
friends like these.
You said it. I didn't say it. I just repeated.
Like I said earlier, my father's a preacher's kid. We've had a lot of goings back and forth. Father's Day is, I don't know. Appreciate you.
Hey, Rick, let me tell you something. Before I became a dad, Father's Day didn't mean that much to me either. Because you know what? The only thing worse than having no dad was sometimes having my dad. Okay? And so, but now understand something. I will say this. He was an excellent grandfather. Okay? What he did with my son was a lot different than what he did with me. Because I could take a leader nigga for real. But I mean, in the end, he found out he straightened up in his 60s. So, and like I said,
I mean, I'll say this, and he won't mind me saying it because he knows the truth. Like up until about 30, me and my dad had a rough go of it. You know what I mean? Like things was pretty rough. That I could tell, but ain't for today. So But happy Father's Day to you. You still here, kicking around, getting on my damn nerves. So,
hey, that's the same thing my dad did to me when I became an adult. He got on my nerves, always asking for shit. I'm like, what is supposed to be the other way around? Okay, ain't I supposed to ask you?
And just so you know, you can't blame you going to hell on your daddy. You going by your damn self.
Listen, I've already accepted my fate. That's fine. It's gonna be lit. When I get down there, we gonna be lit as a motherfucker.
I'll be waiting for you, dog.
Oh boy,
hey,
where the party at?
Whatever you do, don't bring this shit here. Okay.
Right.
That's next.
I'll say, no in hell.
I'm gonna throw this shit over in Busta Rhymes section.
All right, Herb and Herb too.
Yeah. So since Pops already did, I was blessed to have both my father and my stepfather in my life. And I just wanted to say, as far as like, I appreciate everything they've done for me. One thing I will say, as far as like with Pops, is I see where my personality came from. At times I'm bad with the actual the timing with jokes, but it's still a funny joke sometimes. But I'm an asshole at heart.
Exactly. He get that from his mom.
Be you.
I was going to say, don't blame that on Papa Royal.
That was poor decision making on your side.
Papa Royal's like, I know where I get it from. Papa Royal's like this.
That mistake, boy. I ain't lying. Okay.
But all jokes aside, though, I'm blessed to have both of them in my life. Both of them taught me how to be a man, a respectful man. Take care of yours so you don't have to rely on anybody. Be the best man that you could possibly be. I'm blessed to have everything in my life because of them. So, and one thing that, and I mean, not to shade any single moms or anything like that, but single fathers don't take the credit on Mother's Day. We need to have our day. So if you're a single mother out there, we praise you. But your day is Mother's Day. Likewise on the opposite way for Father's Day and everything. This is our day. Let us shine. Let those fathers who've been in the kids' life have their moment. This is where this is their praise.
Look at her right here. Okay, I'm watching because she got some shit pinned up right there. Okay, it's trying to come out. Okay,
but I say she ain't the only one. I'm looking at. I'm reading the room. Face like score.
Just getting to the point. It's Happy Father's Day to everybody, and just bless everybody.
And let me say this: I salute you, young brothers, for being fathers to your children. Okay, because that's the most important thing in the world, whether you're there or not. You know, me and her mother got divorced when he was like 9 years old. But I made sure I was always a present to his life.
It's just me and Trey.
Oh, so. I was.
Hey, I'm a godfather. I'm an uncle.
Look, y'all all fathers in some way. I mean, if you got a kid you mentor, or if you got an uncle, or whatever, you are some kind of. For instance, because I just told you how bad my dad was. My uncles were my father figures. Those were the ones who set examples for me. Those are the ones who got up and get to work every day, took care of their families, did things like that. So, like I said, there's a difference between your father and your daddy. Okay, there's a difference. One's biological, the other one's who teach you stuff. Okay,
well, I'm gonna get somebody pregnant in 2021, so it's all good.
Jesus Christ, Rick!
I feel sorry for your mother. Okay.
So
let's go ahead and do that toast. Go ahead, Herb.
No, Rick, Trey has to go.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Beard. Hey, is that gray in there?
Yes.
Wow.
And they go.
I got two strands now.
Yeah, you like Fu Manchu, but you see
Trey season 2.
Wait, isn't Trey the youngest out of all of the guys though?
I think I am.
He ain't got no hair either, so damn. One of y'all gray, the other one bald. Damn, that's just all messed up. Okay. But no, didn't it come from yours? No, male pattern baldness comes from moms. That's
it does. It actually does come from the mother's side.
That's it. Blame her. Hey, look, I got my hairline. Okay, I just wear the hat for fun, but I got my hairline. It's a little farther back than what it used to be, but it's still there. Okay, so
Mr. Proper.
Mr. Proper. In my segment.
All right.
Screenshot of what? Oh, everybody hold up your drink.
Hey, Trey, I just realized that your beard grayness looks like a trail.
I told him it's Fu Manchu. That's Fu Manchu, I'm telling you. And he was like the joint on the, what's the name, one of them little old movies.
Listen.
Hey, Rita, it leads to the sea.
That's what, no. That's, the trail is from the juices dripping down.
Oh!
That's what that is.
Oh.
So Mr. Proper, how's your Father's Day?
Oh my God!
Up to it, down to it. Honestly, my Father's Day has been pretty chill. We had a cookout. Congratulations to our little cousin Jamila for graduating from high school. Congratulations to her. We had a cookout for her here at my mom at Mama Proper's house. And I was on the grill yesterday. Today I got up late, got here, got on the show on time. I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. And yeah, Trey said Happy Father's Day to me maybe 15 minutes ago, or before we started the show. So yeah, Father's Day has been great. It's really, I don't care about Father's Day, to be honest.
Hey, it's your fault. You shouldn't have conceived him to the TP2 album. You could have did better. If you
we still bringing that up? Damn, you got no chill.
Up to it, down to it.
Fuck those that don't do it.
Like I said, everything after 2 p.m. is the petty overtime. And we're clearly just in the petty overtime.
I just don't care. Like, I don't know this, but after the show is over, this is usually what happens after the show.
Right.
Rick. She's family. She's definitely family. She's definitely family, girl. I ain't lying.
I just want to go.
I mean,
So in addition to that, I think my mom was cooking, so I'm trying to go get some food. So I really want to wrap this up.
All right, Graybeard.
But before we go, I do want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. My dad, my stepdad. You got, well, Herb, off-camera guy.
Hey. Father figures here. For stepfathers.
He may have some
we godfathers.
Work out there. You never know.
I
got some work out there, for real.
I'll say, hey, who provided him with Hot Wheels?
Hey man, if you're over 30 and you're dating, you're definitely in stepfather territory, man.
Real quick. A friend of mine earlier said you's a father to all them kids you left in socks everywhere. So
I got you, y'all probably all got some work out there you don't know about, okay?
Not me.
Yeah.
No comment.
Let's go ahead and close out this show. Everybody get your drink in your hand. We've been in this for an hour and 31 minutes. Blurs and Whiskey record. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure that you tune in to Twitch, twitch.tv/Blurs and Whiskey every week, Sunday. Also, to follow this episode will be replayed on YouTube the following day. Check out blursandwhiskey.com, thebeardstruggle.com, FNX
FNX Fit.
FNX Fit, sorry. I apologize. FNXFit.com. For the Beard Struggle, it's Blurs 1. For FNX Fit, it's FNX.
One-stop shop for Blurs and Whiskey.
If you go to blursandwhiskey.com, it's a one-stop shop that you can find us, all the links, our merch, the YouTube pages, and everything else. So if you go to blursandwhiskey.com, blurs and the word and whiskey.com, you can find all the links there.
And don't forget to stream
our sponsor links for FNX,
so you can become a father too.
And discount.
Oh, Jesus. No chill. No.
Let's go ahead and close out this show. So everybody gets a drink in your hand.
Like we always do every week. Be sure to get your merch. Be sure to watch prior episodes. As always, up to it, down to it. Fuck
those who don't do it. We do it because we used to it. Drink, motherfucking drink.
Happy Father's Day, y'all. Or as we like to say, happy motherfucker.
I ain't telling your ass shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and that technicolor rainbow in between, it's your boy Trey Proper.
It's your boy Big Herb.
And thank you for watching Blurs and Whiskey.
Be sure to like, share, subscribe on all social media platforms.
And check us out on blursandwhiskey.com.
Be sure to get that merch.
And come take this shot.